This is the Firelight 2, and it is actually made by a Canadian company. It's made in Taiwan. The reason it's called the Firelight 2 is because on this side you got 2 burners. On this side you got a little stove. Lift that out. Lift this out. Flip this guy over. And it's got these little feet that go in those. There's a little spot there also. And that's sort of kind of a little wind shield. This thing flips over. There's your burner under there. There's a hole to light it underneath. It's a heavy plate. Try to distribute the heat. And if your burgers drip, it's supposed to drip the juice in there and burn up. So now here's this little hose. It's kind of fancy. This one goes in here. Fairly straightforward. Anyway, it goes until it stops. Has a little regulator of its own. This one goes in there. Really got to make sure to screw that. Got to make sure to screw this one in all the way. I put some kind of lube on there, and it really helps a lot. Got to make sure to screw it in all the way. Otherwise, if you're a little short, the little Schrader valve in there won't get depressed, and so no gas will come out. And then this just plugs into normal 1 pound Coleman tank. And originally, this was a its own regulator, and it had low, medium, and high, and I just left it on high all the time, and eventually it failed. So I just bought Coleman part 5430, and which comes with a little metal thing that sticks off, and I just cut that off about 1 inch. It actually fits in this hose really well. I put a little sealant on there, some 3M kind of marine adhesive sealant, and then put this clamp on there. And it works great. It's been a couple years. Anyway, that sits on the 1 pound tank, and this is your what's it called? I guess it's not really an oven. Grill heat, and then individual controls for these over there. And you can run them all at the same time. This thing's pretty great, but the only thing is if it's windy, you don't have a wind block. The normal Coleman's stove have the other side of it is kind of a block, and so that's kind of a bummer. I do think they sell a little aluminum foldable section thing that will block the wind. I need to get one of those. So putting it back together is kind of a trick. So anyway, here's this, has the handles going up. I'm going to flip this over, and then you actually want these things offset a little bit so that when you flip this thing over, is that right? Flip this thing over like that, those little wind blockers go in the edge, and then that has to fit in between there. So that's the real key. If you actually make this metal plate symmetric in the middle, it will hit that little foot right there, so it has to be offset a little bit. Very sneaky. This thing also flips over. Put that in there. Just kind of sets on top. Unscrew this guy. And goes up. This thing, I don't know if I said it already, but this thing is really heavy. So it's going to outlive us all. There's something about these feet are supposed to be modular or something, but I just screwed them in there like this. So they just stay like that. And unfortunately, there's nothing to really, there's no way to fit this inside of there. So I just have a pouch. And very coincidentally, I actually have 2 of these Firelight things. And that's it. Putting it together is the real trick. But that's the only sequence that I found that works, basically.